Hi friends and welcome to the channel. My name is Ryan Abair and this is where I share my insights. And today I want to talk about building an audience, a following, and a business. And these are desired outcomes for anyone who wants to be launching out on their own. Is that you need people. And how do we do this without much effort? It might surprise you how this process works, and it begins with understanding who you are. So stick around, and we're going to talk about building a following, an audience, and a business. It might seem a little strange for someone who has fewer than 1,000 subscribers to be talking about building a following when I don't have any proof of it. So I'm sort of putting my theories out there before I can show you any evidence of it. And for those of you who have been following my channel, I want you to know that sometimes the wisdom comes first before you are able to apply what you know. You're kind of going around on a hunch, and life has this experimental quality to it, that you have a theory and you set out to prove your theories. It's very scientific, which is very artistic at the same time. You test out your hunches, and the universe allows you to throw out your ideas to see what comes back. But I've had some experience in doing this because I spent 25 years as a musician. And I know the importance of building community. I was a conductor, so I had to attract people to my ensembles, and I had to keep them interested and engaged. And I once had a professor in a pedagogy class. A pedagogy is the theory of teaching or the art of teaching, who said that in a nutshell, if you're giving a lecture and you're bored, everyone else is bored. So the gauge of success and anything that you're trying to do that attracts people is going back and consuming your content and to see if it moves you, bores you, entertains you, captures you, whatever the case may be. And that is the gauge that you use to build a following. And essentially, you must build up your audience as you. And this is a tough lesson. Because we love when people respond to our content. We love when we sort of bake a cake or cook something and people say, yummy, 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 yummy. That's nice. But the sweetest nucleus of this thing is that you become a fan of your own work. And that's hard to do, because there's a gatekeeper called the inner critic. And if that inner critic is not constructive and kind and encouraging, you'll never be at a point where you can eat your own cooking and think, damn, this is good. And you won't have any buy-in into your product or service. You'll always be thinking about the reactions from others, and the stamp of approval that you're looking for is within you. And as a writer, as a budding writer, I'm changing careers and going into writing and doing what I'm doing now. It has taken me a really long time to write to the point where I read it and think, oh, did I do that? That's good. I wish I knew who wrote that. There's almost a disassociation. When you're writing, you're very engaged and enthusiastic and inspired. And there also comes a point that when you read what the writer wrote, the reader is enthusiastic. So there's a wonderful alignment of enthusiasm for what you produce, rather than being the kind of person that inherently does not like what they produce. I don't think that's going to be successful in getting a following if you are not the most enthusiastic follower of your product, service, or content. In other words, if you're going to cultivate an audience, how do you cultivate yourself? And I've thought about this for a long time. And when I first started in music, anything I produced, and I'm sure those initial recitals when I was younger, those initial performances I gave on the piano and the organ, which were my chosen instruments, I'm sure they were total crap in terms of a quality. But when a small child gives you a piece of artwork that sort of looks like chicken scratch, what you see in it is the enthusiasm that went into making it for you. So you overlook all of the so-called flaws. Then the critic turns into the coach, you see. So there's a transmutation of the evil guard trashing the work, and the inspired person who is seeing improvement and noticing how much better it's getting. And you begin to coach yourself in a healthier way. That's how you cultivate an audience, is to look at your work as if you didn't do it. And being able to see it in such a constructive way, and just making mental notes as you're going along, that the critic becomes the coach and the construct and the teacher within you. The kind, patient, loving teacher within you takes over, whereby then your work continues to improve, and now the teacher is even blown away. And that is not to say that you don't continue to deepen your work and improve your work. It's just that you deepen yourself and you deepen your appreciation for what you've been able to do over time. And you become a real fan, even though there may be some flaws in your work or some room for improvement in your work. You read something that you wrote, and it's moving. And you're getting something out of your work. For example, I go back and watch my videos and wonder, sometimes this happens to me. I think, well, boy, I ought to write some of this down. This guy's got some good ideas. I could use some of his ideas. And it's coming out of my mouth. And I'm resonating with my own content. And I'm thinking, more people should know about this stuff. It's so helpful. Like, I am providing therapy for myself. I am guiding myself, teaching myself, learning about myself. And so not only am I enthusiastic and moved and sometimes even inspired, and I laugh sometimes at some of my own jokes. But honestly, thinking, where did that come from? Oh, gee, did I do that? That's pretty good. Somebody ought to write that down. It's these kind of, like, I have no idea where it's coming from kind of thing. And the listener doesn't listen with such disdain anymore. The listener listens with a wonderful, constructive, captivated, and able to provide feedback. That's the thing. The critic provides healthy feedback. It's no longer like, you piece of shit kind of a thing. Right? And so I become part of my audience. And I become part of the mission that so if I'm a teacher, then the teacher in me is teaching, but the student in me is getting something out of it. So it's this perpetuating cycle that begins to flow, because I'm no longer critical of the teacher, the speaker, the content creator. I'm more or less, and so the product gets better because I'm in love with the producer. The creation gets better because I'm in love with the creator, you see. Does that make sense? I no longer dislike myself. I no longer see myself as a imposter. I see myself in the same way that you would see a small child who gave you a piece of artwork. You just see the love. It's a blind thing. It's like a mother who accepts artwork from a child. It's chicken scratch. It's total junk. It's total throw it down the drain. But it's a blind way of accepting it, because it came from a place of love. So if it's created from a place of love and it's consumed from a place of love, it grows exponentially. And so will your audience. So that's how you cultivate your audience. You cultivate yourself, basically. And it's about letting yourself through this gatekeeper who keeps judging everything. If you can read your writing, eat your cooking, see your naked body. This is very, very important for those of you who've been following me. See your naked body, listen to your voice, eat your cooking, read your writing, and receive it the same way a mother receives an art project from a child. It says, good job, honey. You know, maybe your child is a little, you know what, you could use some more texture in your artwork, or you can offer help to the child in a loving way. Oh, I'm so proud of you. And if the child says, then you says, is there anything that we can do to make it better? Then you go back and you play the role of the consumer and think, I was reading this paragraph and I lost interest in it. I was watching this video and my attention was in and out. Okay, well, how can it be more engaging? You can coach yourself, encourage yourself, but it always has to come from a place of love, like a mother receiving something from a child. I think it was Hemingway who said, and I may be paraphrasing, and I don't know what this, I just picked this up somewhere. He says, if you're not moved by your own writing, dig deeper or something like that. Or, keep searching for ways. If you're an aspiring chef, keep searching for ways to really touch your culinary palate. Sorry, my camera cut off. Keep thinking of ways of really touching and connecting with your culinary palate, so that when you eat it, you're like, damn, this is good. Right? So there's this open channel that the gatekeeper of the critic, there's just this horrible, nasty version of yourself that won't receive and give lovingly. And when that flow begins and you become a fan, an honest fan of yourself, despite your flaws and imperfections in the way you deliver things, that frees you to just continue to improve and to be a fan and to watch both the content creator and the consumer deepen their appreciation for both of those roles. So you love the creator, the creative side of those role plays within you. And you allow them to freely, you allow the creator to express him or herself as you. And then you go back and you consume your content with this beautiful objective way of looking at it and asking and reflecting, is this writing moving me, making me laugh, engaging me? It's so funny because you can engage yourself. And I love that about who we are. So to build a following, to build a business, which are people, and to build an audience is to cultivate the audience of you. If you're performing a piano recital, the most important person in the room is not necessarily the performer, but that which is hearing the music as it's being created. And you can go back and listen to your recordings with that same openness, like, who did that? It almost doesn't feel like it's you anymore. And that distance allows you to take it in lovingly, as if you're a stranger on both sides of those role plays. And then you'll start to become a fan of yourself. And you'll laugh at yourself. You'll move yourself to tears. You'll bore yourself. Those are all ways of building a business, building a following is resonating with the content you create, the things you're going to make. And then others are likelier to follow if you are into the buy-in of it. If your service or your product or your content, you believe it if you consume it. You are helped by it if you watch it. You are nourished by it if you hear it. You are wowed by it if you participate in it. Then you're onto something. The number one customer service satisfaction form is the one you fill out for your own products, services, and content. And that's a way of knowing that you're successful, is you've gotten past the critic. You've surpassed that, and now you're impressing yourself because you are expressing yourself. When you express yourself honestly, then you can impress yourself honestly. My name is Ryan Hebert. I hope these insights were helpful to you. Please check out my blog, mymorningmotivator.com.